Hello everyone, it's Matt here and welcome to another update on the R2D2 Partwork. So there's a bit of a change with these 4 episodes, and I'm going to start actually with these 2 pieces here. These are actually parts for, and I'll start with this one, the third wheel, or the third leg if you like, and that is actually mounted underneath the chassis. I imagine it will probably be mounted that way up with the wheel here, so obviously the body's built up from here, but it's a nice little bit. It's 4 pieces of metal and 4 screws. It's a really nice, despite the fact that it's only held in by 1 screw and a spigot, it's really nice and sturdy, and I can't wait to see what else happens to it. But that's, it's a bit that's, I don't know if it's going to be added on in the next issues, or it's going to be a piece where they've done it, but then they're going to add to it sort of about 10 issues down the line. This is actually a piece of the bodywork, so if I grab a copy of the magazine, so you can see how this is actually very similar to that piece there. So this is actually for that leg. I haven't got a copy to hand with that side, but this is actually the piece that fits in like that, so it fits in right at the bottom there. So you can sort of tell it's really started to come together. This is actually screwed in, believe it or not. There's 2 little screws there. This is screwed in. There's actually 3 screws. There's the 2 holding the blue piece in, and there's another one in the middle that actually holds that silver piece in. So there's quite a lot of little bits and pieces that go together. This is loose. It's just pushed in for the moment, so I imagine there's going to be like a frame or something that you have to screw to, because there's obviously some screw holes there. So really interesting pieces coming along in these new issues. So this is 65, so that's building the head. So that's one of the early ones. There's obviously a few more since then. The head as well, just fix that. The head has had a good portion of change as well. So the head is actually now, I think I'll turn the lights on for this bit. Obviously that should be a little better now, but there's been a few changes to the head. We've added a few pieces in, so it does look a bit, it is now I think pretty much complete. The only, obviously Luke's light saving mechanism is still missing. I've still got to pack that out, because you can sort of see from there there's a little bit of a recess there, but we've filled in everything else. That's new here, those are new there, they're just rubber inserts. And a few of the bits and pieces have been added as well. So obviously it's no use saying they've been added. So let's now have a look inside. To the rear. And this is what the head looks like now. So we've got a little control board here. So all these little leads actually connect in. I've plugged some of them in. Some of them are fairly obvious. So we've got one, for example, which is LS, which will be lightsaber. We've got one for M, which will be the microphone, which is this one up here, and there's actually only a few. There's actually the only one on that one, which is actually 2 pins, so you can clearly tell that's going to be that one. There's a few others on here, so if I read them out, there is projector, which is quite clearly that one. It actually does connect that in that issue, so that's an easy one to do. We've got RB. We've got LCD2, LCD1 and GY. So those could be any matter of things with these remaining panels, sort of like optical displays, status displays, etc. So that's obviously going to be up within the future issue. We've also put in these neat little wiring clips in. These are actually push fed in from one end and then screwed in with the other. So obviously I've fitted the microphone cable in to give you an idea, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be coming along really quickly now, and I'm essentially just waiting for things to be confirmed about which goes where, and then I can just start plugging in quite freely. I didn't want to plug in too much and then find out I was wrong, because obviously pulling these out of these connectors is actually kind of hard. And I don't want to plug it in, and then try and have to take it out, and then break the cable, and then have to go to the Agostini, I can have a new cable because the one's broken. Aside from that, there's been not much else done. There's still a few pieces missing. Obviously there's Luke's lightsaber. We're still missing the piece here. So we've got this little like light thing or little plastic bit. So there's a bit going out, but there's nothing around it. There is some screw holes, etc. to around it, I think. So obviously there's still room for things to be screwed into it, but obviously that's probably going to be coming later. There's obviously still quite a lot to do with the head. A good portion of it is complete. The one thing I do want to point out, and I'll have to swing it around, is that one of these pegs is not in properly. That's supposed to pack out the panels. It's actually this one here, and that's because I think there's been some poor moulding on this plastic panel for the black screw hole mounting. I've actually only got it that far in due to using pliers rather than tweezers, pliers, and then just twisting it round. So again, that's a mark of bad craftsmanship on the kit, on the set. It does happen. It could just be a little bit of flash inside the moulding from when it was made, but obviously the issue is that that peg is now going to be out. It's not going to be an issue. It's still held in with the others, and I think on these I did actually use a little bit of glue, but obviously it's not going to be too much of an issue. I can always put a bit of glue at the base if it starts coming out, for example, in the next couple of days, for example. So anyway, that's the update for the head. You can obviously see it's coming along quite nicely now. It's neatly filling out. Then that sort of happened quite quickly, so I'll just put this in and rest it up. So there you have the newest update. So yeah, there's quite a lot to do, and if I can actually take this off, there's actually the bracket behind there. I don't know how, this probably won't come out well on the footage. I mean, you sort of see there's a bracket there, but there's still nothing behind it, so this can actually, I'm still putting this in, but there's actually nothing behind it at the moment. So obviously that's still to be filled in. But that's it essentially. You know, things are actually starting to come together. We're actually starting to see bits of the main body, which I'm really pleased about. So we can actually start this, well, I wouldn't say start assembling him into his proper sort of size, but at least we've got an indication that, you know, the head is nearly finished with, and we're just going to start doing the body and doing a few of the bits and pieces. It did actually mention that we might not do any, that the body, the sort of like head might be left alone for a bit while they focus on doing the body, or at least the carcass and getting the electronics sorted. So it might be that the head is actually pushed aside for the next, I don't know, 12 issues or something while they sort the carcass out and that sort of thing. But anyway, that's it for this update, and I'm Matt, and you'll see me in the next video.